Howdy. This video will focus on solving for inequalities. Now, the basic rules for solving for inequalities, we pretty much have these symbols right here. And this symbol here stands for greater than. On a number line, it is an open circle. And then on a line on a graph, it's a dash, and then when you shade, it's above. For this one here, this symbol, it means greater than or equal to. On a number line, it's a solid dot, and on a graph, it's a solid line, and on a graph, you shade above. This symbol here means less than. It is a empty dot, just a circle. On a graph, it's dashed line, and you shade underneath on a graph, underneath the line. And then this symbol here is less than or equal to. On a number line, it's a dot, a solid dot. On a graph, it's a solid line, and on the graph, you shade underneath the line. Now remember, right here, when dividing, when you're solving for y on an inequality, if you have to divide by a negative number to get y by itself, you need to switch the sign. So if you have a less than or equal to, you're going to switch it to a greater than or equal to when dividing by a negative. If you have a greater than and you're dividing by a negative, then switch it to a less than, and vice versa. Okay? Now here's just a simple two-variable example. Let's go ahead and this example isn't solved for y, so let's go ahead and solve for this y. So first step we need to do is get negative 2y by itself, so let's add 8 to both sides. So then we'll get negative 2y is greater than negative x plus 8. Now we need to divide by negative 2 to get y alone, so divide both sides by 2, and our line will be y is, remember when we divide by negative, we need to switch this symbol. So y is going to be less than 1/2, because negative 1 divided by negative 2 is 1/2. X minus 8 divided by negative 2 is 4. So our equation is y is less than 1/2 x minus 4. So our slope for this line will be 1/2. Our y-intercept will be negative 4. And our shade, it will be y is less than, so it's going to be under. And our line, since it's less than and not equal to, it's going to be a dash. A dashed line. So now let's go ahead and graph this inequality. So always start with our y-intercept. So y-intercept is negative 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And now so our slope is positive 1/2. So we're going to go up 1 and over 2. Up 1 and over 2. Up 1 over 2, etc. Then opposite the other way. And now, since our line is dashed, we're just going to go ahead and dash our line. So pretty much just don't make it a solid line. And now, since it's less than, we need to shade underneath the line. So, and there you have it. There is our solved for a two-variable example of an inequality. Next example, we have 3y minus 8 is less than or equal to negative x minus 2. So let's go ahead and solve for y. So we need to add 8 to both sides to get 3y by itself. So we're going to have 3y is less than or equal to negative x plus 6. Now we want to get y by itself, so divide by 3. And since we're not dividing by a negative, we're going to keep this the same. So it's going to be y is less than or equal to negative 1 divided by 3 is going to be negative 1 over 3x plus 6 divided by 3 is 2. So this is our equation that we're going to be graphing. So now our slope of this inequality is negative 1 over 3. So negative 1 over 3. Our y-intercept is positive 2. Our shade, since it's less than, will be under. And our line will be, since it's less than or equal to, it'll be a solid line. So just put solid. Solid line. Okay, so now let's go ahead and graph this. Always start with our y-intercept. And our y-intercept is 2. So go up 2 from the origin. So 1, 2. And now our slope is negative 1 over 3. So we're gonna want to go down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. Down 1 over 3. Opposite for the other side. And since we have a solid line, just do a solid line. There's our line, and now the shade is under, so let's go ahead and shade underneath our line. And there you have it. There is our solved for our graphed inequality. Now this may be our last one. This is a system of equations. Well, it's actually a system of inequalities. We have 2 inequalities that we're graphing. So let's go ahead and do this. And they're already we already have y that's solved for, so all we have to do is graph. So the slope of our first line will be 1. Our y-intercept is negative 5. Our shade is y is greater than or equal to, so it'll be above. And our line, since it's equals to, it's going to be solid. Now for our second equation, y is already solved for, so now we just need to find the slope and y-intercept. So our slope to this will be negative 1, right there. Our y-intercept will be negative 3. Our shade, y is less than, so it'll be under. And our line will be dashed because it's not equals to, so dashed. Okay, so now let's go ahead and graph these lines. Let's graph our first line. So our y-intercept is what we always start with. So y-intercept is negative 5. From our origin, we go down 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then our slope is 1. So go up 1, up 1, up 1. And then our line is solid, so let's make that line solid. And our shade is above, so let's go ahead and shade above. Okay, so now it's shaded above. Now we need to graph our second equation. So our y-intercept is negative 3, so from the origin go down 3. 1, 2, 3. And then our slope is negative 1. So it'll go down 1 and right 1. Down 1, 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 right 1. Opposite way. Alright, and now our line is dashed. So let's just make these dashed the best we can. And our shade is under, so let's shade underneath. The reason why I'm shading this part in extra well is because when we have our worksheets or a test, it's gonna ask you if a certain point will work inside. Will work with these 2 inequalities. So let's say we have the points 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, negative 3. Will this point work? So let's see. Let's graph that. So let's plot that point. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So this point is outside of both shaded regions, so it will not work. Let's say we have the point negative 4, negative 3. If you plot that, we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. that point right here, and that point is within both shaded regions, which is correct. The only solution that you can have for this inequality is solutions that are inside both shaded regions. If they're here or here, the solution won't work, and if it's here, the solution won't work. This is the only area where it would work. Next, now we need to work backwards, and I know how y'all love to work backwards. So let's go into this real simple. Like first, we always need to find our y-intercept. So let's find our y-intercept for our solid line. Okay, so the solid line right here. Solid line goes to the y-intercept at 1, 2, 3. So the y-intercept is 3, and our slope for our y-intercept, the slope for this line. Let's go ahead and find 2 points where it crosses a corner. So that point and this point. From this point to this point, how many does it go up? It goes up 1, 2, 3. So rise will be 3 over our run from this point to this point is 1. So our slope will be 1 over 3. 3 over 1. Now, is this line positive or negative? It is going down from left to right, so it's going to be negative. So our slope will have a negative in front of it. Now the shade for this line, it's here it's not shaded, here it is. So it's going to be shaded under. So let's make our equation. We're going to have y is, let's see, we have an under and a solid. Solid means equals to, and under is less than. So it's going to be less than or equals to. Our slope is negative 3. So negative 3x plus 3 for the y-intercept. So now let's find our second equation. Our second equation has a dashed line. So our line will be dashed. If we look, it's shaded here and not shaded here. So it's going to be shaded above. Now let's find our y-intercept for our dashed line. And our y-intercept goes through the point 0, negative 1. So our y-intercept will be negative 1. And our slope, let's find 2 corners it goes through. So it goes through this corner and this corner. So from this corner to this corner, it goes up how many times? Once. So it'll be 1 over, from this corner to this corner, it runs once. So our slope will just be 1. Now, is this a positive line or a negative line? It goes up from left to right, so it'll be positive. So no negative needed for this slope. So now let's do write our equation. We're going to have y, and since we have above, that'll be greater than, and a dashed, it'll just be greater than, and no equals to, so it'll just be a greater than sign. Greater than 1x, so it'll just be x minus 1. And there are 2 equations right here and right here. And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. That's all, folks.